Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
We'll be giving a kind of first introduction to Workday learning. We have basic terms that we frequently use. The campaign is one that I said is similar to campaign. And we have a few more terms that we frequently use on a day-to-day basis of learning management system. We'll be getting the terminology, get aware of those terms and terminology, and also you know how to handle security requirements. If you're creating a course for one team, the other team should not. Of course, only that particular team has to see. Such kind of things that support it. But still, since you're trying as a kind of opportunity based on this, I think that will be an added advantage for you. And there is one more within Workday Learning. There is something called another sub-learning module called Extended Enterprise Learning. Workday Learning, it's a kind of extended model we have which provides access to international employees to perform their learning. Say you're working for an organization and that organization is live with Workday and including the Workday Learning. That is, live with all other modules like Core, HC, and Benefits, Payroll. With all these modules, the Workday is live with international ES location. And now we know your organization is planning to implement Workday for India. But still, you wanted to have India Amit. You mean the integration with other apps? Or No. Extended Enterprise is learning, but which will be extending learning to international employees. Oh, it's related to international employees. Let's say your organization is in the US and in India. In the US, employees have access to Workday learning system. But since in India is not part of Workday, they will not have access to Workday learning. To those, the India employees will be extending the learning application through extended learning module. They'll have this access for learning. This is one of the sub-module within learning. There is nothing but enterprise learning system. We call it as Extended Enterprise Learning System is a kind of the sub-module within Workday. And configuring the dashboard workspace announcement is something which is again a kind of core configuration. You'll not be doing this. As a kind of learning admin, you'll not be doing this work. This is not related to your space. But for you to want to know, if you wanted to see how many employees have completed this course, how many employees did not complete this course, and how many have started, how many have not started, such kind of information or statistics. If you wanted to see, you'll go to the dashboards and find the information. We created a dashboard for you as a kind of in a Workday in members will be creating a dashboard for you. And as a kind of learning business team, you will be part of learning business team because you will work. You will be a kind of learning business user for us. We'll be creating a dashboard for you. And as a kind of business user, you can go to dashboard and the track how many have completed the course, how many have not completed, how many are in progress, such kind of statistics, and you can find from dashboards. That information we'll show you how we can get this information. And similarly, core of learning space. How we can see the learning, kind of area where you can add course, view course, such kind of things. You can see. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Dashboard is main activities for the LMS administrator. Because we are launching a course or a classroom session, whatever, and we should know who are completed, who are not completed. Yes, you should know that. We will be creating a dashboard for you. And whenever you wanted to see who have completed, who have not completed, you can go to the dashboard and find that information. You'll not be getting access to create dashboards and all because that is kind of separate security area. You will not be getting access to dashboard. It's a Workday team who will be creating dashboards for you as per your requirement. That's how we wanted to have the team with dashboards for you. There are some kind of delivered dashboards which Workday offers. We can review this. And if you wanted to have any kind of specific other dashboards, we can see how we can get those dashboards. In this first one, we will be covering all those things. And second week, we will be going in deeper for learning. We'll try to perform or learn some core configurations of Workday learning. And what are the typical day-to-day learning related components that will be working? And how does you know if you wanted to make changes to any of the core configuration, or if you wanted to have any kind of process addition to the business process, let's say employee enrolls into the course. Once employee enrolls into the course, there should be a kind of notification for a manager or employee that you have enrolled into the course. And this is sitting in manager queue for an approval. When it goes for manager to approve the enrollment, it should send a notification that your enrollment is sitting with your manager. And once your manager approves, you will be enrolled into the course. Kind of information you need to send to an employee. How do you get this kind of things? How do you do kind of configuration of this kind of notifications and all you'll be learning? But generally you'll not do this because your role will be completely into managing a learning system. It's not a kind of configuration. It's not a kind of technical work that you'll do. You'll be managing learning system for end users and for your employees. But we'll be configuring that and get you some kind of understanding. Yes, this is how we know learning model will work. When there are courses created, when courses wanted to add as part of security, all those things will be showing you how it works. We'll be creating and showing how it works. Practical understanding will be helpful for you, but you'll not be. We'll give you that knowledge. But in general real-time scenario, you'll not be doing that work. Got it? These are typical learning terms that we have. Enrolling multiple employees as part of mass enrollment in the course and business process. Campaign is one thing. Learning catalog is one thing. And the course, which individual course that we can create. And that's what we discussed. You know the way we wanted to know the status on your fingers. You know when you wanted to understand the status of completion. That is one thing. And if you are a manager of your team, and you are as a manager, and you wanted to enroll your team members into one of the course, you can do that. That kind of configuration will be seen and how to create instructors and assign instructors to existing course learning course, or creating a learning course and add the instruction to that course is one thing that we'll be seeing. And the learning administrator is one of the core security user that will be giving you all the permissions that you wanted to access in learning area. You wanted to create a campaign with just without access to the card. Create a campaign. Because you need to have a campaign security access. When you have that, you should be getting access to create a campaign. We'll be learning about campaigns and scheduling the campaigns and learning courses we have. as a kind of course. We have two kind of courses, generally virtual course and in-person course. When you're creating a virtual course, what are the considerations that you need to make? And when you're creating a classroom course, what are the things that you need to have? All those things that you need to do. And there is something called programs. Combination of multiple classroom courses and virtual courses is nothing but a program. Let's say employees joining the organization. You assign 10 virtual courses and 5 classroom courses. When employee completes all these 15 courses, employee will be getting completion of the program. In my case LMS, we will call it as a learning path. Learning path. Learning path. That is something that a bunch of courses will be available. I got it. It can be an in-person course or it can be a virtual course. There's nothing but a program. And offerings is nothing but course offerings. Nothing but where you'll be offering a course to employee to complete. Assigning or publishing. Publishing. You'll publish that. And service, if you wanted to do any kind of service, seeking a feedback from employees, and once they have done with the course. Such kind of things that you'll be seeing, and the topics is nothing but a kind of umbrella that will be holding lessons, that will be holding courses. If you're creating any course in one day, that course should be part of a topic. If you're creating anything related to the Workday that you're visiting, is that an authoring tool on the topic? What is that authoring tool? I can create the course. No, it's a kind of umbrella. You know that will be holding courses. All topics will be holding all the courses. Let's say you're creating any course related to benefits there should be a topic to hold all the benefit related courses. Is there creating any kind of course related to HR? There should be a topic that will be holding all the HR courses, just like a folder. Just a kind of a folder, is it not a folder? Which will be holding courses. That is nothing but a topic we can say. The next thing is security. What kind of key is security that you can configure in learning? You're not able to perform any kind of learning related activity. What security is missing there? You'll be able to get some kind of understanding there. And typically, if you're seeing my screen, these are the 4 security tools that we typically have in learning. Learning administrator and instructors, assessors, employee is nothing but who is a regular employee. An implementation partner is nothing but who implements a Workday to customers. And manager is nothing but who manages team members. And security is nothing but who manages complete security of the Workday product. We'll be learning about the security rules. You'll not be creating this, but you should know what security will give permission to create a course. What security will give permission to manage something kind of information, and you should be able to understand. That is about the security areas that we'll be covering. And there are certain kind of business processes. Business process configuration, let's say like kind of workflows. Let's say it's employee. Employee is enrolled into the course. If the course is having any kind of cost associated to that one, whatever employee has enrolled into the course, that course has some cost associated. Then you should not directly enroll employee into the course. You should go for a manager approval. Only once manager approves the course, employee should be able to enroll into the course. Such kind of business process You know how do you create a business process and set up something. You know that you wanted to be part of a learning system, will be creating and selecting the business process and get a bit of that information. And also for every business process and for every security group we have something called domains. Domains are nothing but permissions. If you don't have permissions, you'll not be able to access that information. If you are reporting, if you are creating a report to pool all the learning related courses, but if the report does not have access to learning user, we'll be configuring the kind of security group that will allow access that particular report or any kind of learning related configuration. What kind of basic security that should give you access to perform your job. Your job is to manage a learning system. What is the security that you need to have to perform your activities on day to day without any kind of issues? That is something we'll be trying to give you a kind of understanding. This is what I've been, since you know you'll be learning coordinator. You'll be getting this access, or since you know you'll be learning admin, you'll be getting this access. Such kind of things we'll be examining and will be giving you that kind of knowledge to handle the security request. From in terms of end user, in terms of, technically, both, you can get some kind of understanding. When it starts, I think it should be good for you. When you have a kind of practical understanding of configuring security and other stuff. Amit, I have a question here. What is the difference between courses and lessons? For every course that you create, lesson is a kind of mandatory. Let's say you're creating a learning, but the learning course you're creating and that learning course has some kind of video interactions. Some kind of video has to be there. When you want to have that video file attached to the course lesson is the one thing that will be able to take this one. Lesson will have all the kind of additions of video files or any kind of documents that you can attach. When I enter into the course, I'll be able to, look at the PDF files or attend the training, which is external training, attend the training and get that kind of knowledge. Every course lesson you will be creating, which will be holding the copy of your lesson that you're going to create, and the kind of name that you need to provide, what kind of a lesson, the name that you need to provide, and you need to access the kind of file that has to be attached to the course from Workday. You'll be placing all those files in your local desktop. And when you're creating, a course and when you're adding a lesson, system will ask you that which is the lesson that you wanted to upload such kind of information. And you'll be adding and placing that in Workday. That is something on the components. Extended learning is nothing, but we already discussed which extends to international employees. And it is nothing but which is a kind of folder, I can say, which is holding all the Workday related documents. These are the minimum things that you need to be aware of when you're starting something knowing about learning. And I also try to get you some kind of typical general use cases that we follow in learning area that you can focus on those and talk in your interview about that. That is about, kind of content that we'll be covering. Based on the data, we can plan over 20 hours of session. This is a learning system. When you join any organization, you'll be getting similar kind of access to Workday. If you go to a learning area, As a kind of learning administrator, you will be accessing this information. These are all the learning courses that you'll find in the list. When you're creating, you can define your own image, but this is a standard learning report that will allow you to set up. The courses will help. These are all the courses that we typically create and enable for employees to select the courses. And this is one of the main areas that will frequently come and work. Employer, the kind of individual contributor, can go and select any of the courses from here, keeping management informed. As a user, as a learner, you'll be getting access to Learning Administrator Security Group, where you can access the most of the information. Learning Administrator is something which will provide administrative access to get you the kind of permissions to manage anything related to Workday in based on employee completions. If you wanted to understand, when did this employee complete kind of things, you can get from Learning Admin Workload. And this is nothing but a dashboard. If you are seeing here, this is a typical dashboard you can see. For Logan McNeil has completed, course with this percentage. And the other people, sum is the report. We can customize these things. This can be customized as how we want it to happen. We can do that. Campaign dashboard is something where you can see the stuff campaigns available. These are all the campaign things that are available. This is another kind of learning system access that you'll be getting. You can reach out to CloudFurnish and ask them that they need a Workday environment, access of sandbox. And probably when we start our hands-on session from tomorrow, you can keep that as a kind of reference. I will do. That is on this course and typically have. Everything is a task based in Workday. It's nothing that you need to go and find something in Monday according to need, but everything is as well. If you are to create a course, access the task. Everything is task. Whatever you're looking for, you just enter that. But you should be able to see types of courses, which I said this in the course, in a virtual course, and blended course, in-person course. Can you show me what is in-person course and digital course? Just overview. When you create a digital course and when people are enrolling in the digital course, which means that the course is virtual, instructor will be somewhere and the people who are attending the training will be somewhere. Through digital course, we can connect to the business process and have those created. And when you are creating a digital course, it's nothing but a combination of, video interaction related courses. And coming to blended course. Blended course is nothing but where you need to attend the class to get the training. Like classroom training in person, training second set, instructor later. You'll mostly create digital courses, and blended will not be a kind of user request. You should be aware of the process of how blended courses will behave, kind of this information. When you go for a digital course, you will find a lot of interesting options inside. You can see you can create all the course information, of course. If you want it to keep open or closed, you can do and is that. Here you can add a lesson. If you want to have that video recordings, have any URL that you can access that through this, and the media is nothing but again files with the kind of medical information. The employee will be able to see their courses based on the kind of feedback that you give. Surveys. If you wanted to schedule a survey, you can do that. And external content is nothing but where you can place your URLs. You have scheduled some time today, and within 30 minutes, you know the kind of survey has to be sent based on the completion. Survey will be sent to employees about all the kind of hours that we have. Survey will be sending survey results, and media will be showing all the media files, and external content is nothing, but it will be showing or giving you a kind of option to add your ends for long training. You'll be adding your URLs, and employee can access that URL and provide the information that they'll be looking for. And we can see the survey results. What employee can? For example, I'm just launching this survey here. What is the feedback? The answers submitted by the learner. I want to see the report that puts this information. And we'll create a report that will give you the information about, what is going with the kind of enrollments and people who have not enrolled. You'll be able to track that through Excel content or media. And for launching or mapping the survey, we have to create this survey outside of our Workday, or I can create it. We think only. Creating a lot of work there. Everything you'll create within. That's the kind of basic content that we'll be covering. Also, if you have any kind of questions on what we'll be discussing on a day-to-day basis, you can come up with those questions. Those are the topics that are scheduled. But if you have any kind of scheduled topic or any specific expectation that you have from this course, add to the list and get familiar of that concept. Let me think about that. As I'm new to Berkeley, I don't have much expectation. Then I want to learn in and out of work. Not the technical part. I know, as I am not a technical person, I don't want to learn or understand our technical terms. That's fine. But wherever I want to know about the technical or administrative tasks, I can learn. I think we'll be getting you some kind of configuration that handles core configurations. That should help you. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.